Namaste, this is Brenna Bellhouse from Inner Revolution Yoga Studio online. Today we are going to be showing you and guiding you through an inner beginner class. This is a wonderful class to start with if you've never done yoga, as we break down all the poses and give you ideas on how to build a strong foundation for your yoga practice. Everyone. So for this practice, inner beginner, you will need 2 blocks if you have them. A blanket is optional. So we're going to start in Shavasana, lying on our back. So in this position, make a shape in your body that feels most supportive to you. If you're noticing there's any tension in your lower back, if you have a bolster or a blanket, you can roll it up and put it underneath the knees. You can take the heels as wide as your mat if that feels good, or closer. Palms up. It's generally a sign of open to receiving the energy in the space. If you notice you need a little more grounding, the mind is going a little bit wild, you can turn the palms down towards the earth, pressing into the earth, and this will help focus and calm the mind and the energy. I'd like you just to lift your head up, Trina, and look in between your toes. So what this does, and then exhale, bring the head back down. What this does is it starts to align the cervical vertebrae so the head is nice and lifted and the spine is nice and elongated. In this posture, the purpose is to really start to ground and center the body. When we move in a mindful practice, we start by centering and grounding the body. And the way we do this is start by focusing on the breath. So the breath can be our seed, can be something we can always come back to move outside of the mind and back into the body. So I'd like you to take a few breaths, inviting one hand, Trina, onto the belly and one hand onto the chest, just feeling the rise and the fall of your own breath. As you inhale through the nose, feel the belly lift. And as you exhale through your nose, feel the belly move in towards the spine. Taking a few more of these grounding breaths, just having the hands on the body allows the body to relax, calm, and connect a little deeper with your own breath. If you work with intentions, I invite you to set an intention for your practice. An intention is a word or phrase that's going to move your practice in a positive direction. So I invite you to do that now. For example, an intention for us today in this inner beginner practice is to help you set up a foundation for some of the main postures in yoga. Let's take 3 more breath cycles where we're at. And then when you're finished your 3rd breath, I'd like you to scan the body. And bringing a body scan into the body just brings awareness into the body so that before we move, we're moving with awareness in our bodies. We've dropped into our bodies. So starting to notice the head, the forehead, the face, the eyes, the chin, the throat. Notice the back of the head on the mat. Notice the shoulders and the upper back. And if it feels like you want to move your hands, you're holding them there, you can bring them back down beside the body. So do what makes you feel comfortable. And then noticing from the shoulder joint to the elbows, the upper part of your arms. And then noticing from the elbows to the fingers, the lower part of your arms. And then moving into the hand, notice the tip of the baby finger, the tip of the ring finger, the tip of the middle finger, the tip of the index finger, and the tip of the thumb. And coming back through the fingers all the way back up to the arms, bringing our awareness into the upper body, so the front and the back of our upper body. Just noticing with curiosity the mid-back, the upper back, the lower back, belly, the ribs, the chest. And then concentrate at your belly for a few breaths. As you inhale, feel the belly rise. And as you exhale, feel the belly come in towards the spine. And starting to move your awareness to the lower limbs. So from the hip to the knee, the upper part of the leg, the front and the back. And then from the knee to the ankle, the lower part of the limbs, front and the back. And then into the ankles, the small bones of your feet on the front of your feet, the back of your feet. And then notice each individual toe. Just moving your awareness through your body so that now we're connected in our body. On the next inhale, start to connect with the smallest joints in your body, your fingers and toes. Just notice how they move, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, just noticing how those joints move in your body. And then move into the wrists and the ankles and start to move the wrists and the ankles. And again, just tuning in to how these joints move in your body. Notice all the angles, all the movement. And then moving into the knees and the shoulders and the elbows and just noticing how the joints move in your body. And then when you're ready, drawing both knees up in towards the chest, give yourself a hug, squeeze the knees in. And take a few breaths here, rocking and rolling the spine, and just tuning into the center channel. We call your spine the center channel. So this is what connects you with your body, with your breath, with those around us. So just take a few breaths here. And then as you exhale, release the right leg down to the mat and hold the left knee in. The leg can be relaxed. And just start to make circles with the left hip. Just do 3 in one direction and then 3 in the other direction. Just tuning in again to how this hip is moving, the range of motion. And then when you're finished 3 on each side, draw the knee in, take a couple of breaths into the hip. Using the energy of our exhale to release any tension we're holding. When you finish your 3rd breath, release the leg back down, pause, notice the difference between the left and the right side. And then on the next inhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest. And 3 rotations on one direction. And then 3 rotations in the opposite direction. Just starting to tune into the hip joint, noticing how the body feels. And when you're finished your 3rd rotation on each side, you can exhale, bringing the foot back down to the mat. And then pause and notice. Anytime we do one side, it's very beneficial to stop and just notice the feeling between both sides. This is bringing a balance into our left and our right sides. So when you're ready, you're going to draw the knees in towards your chest again. You're just going to rock and roll the spine, and you're going to make your way up onto all 4s. So however that works for you, you can come to the side, push yourself up. And then when you find yourself on all 4s, aligning the shoulders and the elbows in line. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, and knees come directly under hips. Start to move through a few cat and cows. So push the earth away, inhale, look up. And then as you exhale, rounding the chin towards the chest, exaggerate the spine. Inhale, we look up. And exhale, we round. So the option is to keep the feet up like Trina has them. You're gonna get a nice stretch through the calves and the back of the legs, or you can bring your pads of your feet down and try both of them to see what works for your body. We're gonna do 3 more of these. So 3 more arch and 3 more round. In our yoga practice, usually the inhale lengthens the spine. So the inhale, her spine is lengthening. And as you exhale, she's curling the spine. So the spine shortens a little bit. So getting the breath is a secondary practice right now. Just understanding the foundation of your body and breathing, not holding your breath. I think that's the key here. So let's do 1 more, Trina. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, round. Good. Come back to the tabletop, the neutral position. Push the earth away. And we're going to go into downward facing dog. I'm going to give you a couple of cues. So on the exhale, find your downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, a couple of things to remember. You want to anchor down through the index finger and the thumb. You want to ground these down. You want to open the hands as much as you can, keeping a little bit of space in between the hands. So that's like an anchor, kind of like a spider web. And then a couple of things. We don't want to focus on too much on the heels. So if your heels don't meet the ground, that's okay. Could you bend your knees, Trina, a little bit? So the main focus here is the spine is nice and straight. Okay, so I'm gonna come around, the spine is straight and then pulling up through the hips. Spine straight, hips are high. And then as you exhale, you can start to charge the heels down, but they may not make it and that's okay, okay? On the next exhale, come back to all fours. And then inhale, sit back into child's pose. So child's pose is always an option in any practice if downward dog is too much on your wrists, okay? So really pay attention to your body. At the beginning in your yoga practice, we need to build up some strength in the wrists, so they may get a little bit sore, but over time, if you choose child's pose, this is an amazing option. In child's pose, a couple of things. Your bum may not always reach the heels. You can use a block to support the head if the head doesn't make it down. So if you lift your head up a little bit, and a block is just like this. We don't want too much weight on our shoulders, okay? So you can see most of the weight is pulled back into the hips and we're light on the shoulders. So you don't want to be leaning too much on the shoulders. We're going to take 1 more breath cycle here. That's an inhale and an exhale. And then on your next inhale, come up to all fours. Good. On the next exhale, you're going to find your way to the front of the mat. Let's go through downward facing dog. So exhale, down dog. Remember those cues, index finger and thumb, straight spine. And then try to walk your feet towards your hands. So however you can, as close to the hands as you can get, and then take forward fold. So look at your belly button for a moment. When you look at your belly button, what this does is it elongates your cervical spine, okay? So Trina's really flexible here, but if you aren't very flexible at the beginning of your practice, that's okay. Bend your knees a lot and just really let the body hang. Move the neck from side to side, back and forth. This releases tension in the upper back. Maybe lift up a shoulder and release, and the other shoulder. And again, this is releasing tension. Now on the next inhale, Trina, come halfway up and find a flat back. So a couple of things here. Hands can be below your knees, okay? Let's bring your hands above your knees, Trina, never on your knees. And then draw the shoulders back, look down, find a straight spine, okay? So the shoulders are being pulled back towards her hips. Her core is nice and strong. So this is a flat back. Often what happens in beginners when we're doing flat back is they round a little bit. We want to draw the shoulders back just like Trina is and see that nice straight spine. Beautiful. Exhale, fold forward. And then bend the knees as much as you can and come all the way up. Bring the hands up with you. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. So we call this Anjali Mudra, and anytime the hands are at the heart, we can always bring something we're grateful for into our practice. So now we're going to move through a breakdown of a very common practice in vinyasa flow or flow classes called sun salutations. So on the inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And on the exhale, dive forward, leave with your heart. Inhale, look at the belly button. Halfway up. Good. Draw the shoulders down and back, make the flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Place the hands down and step the right foot back into your lunge. Bring the knee onto the ground and then inhale, rise into your half lunge. Good. Exhale, plant your hands down, tuck the back toe and find your plank pose. Good. So knees or toes here. Let's start on our knees. Good. Belly button in, so we're not sagging here. She's got a very beautiful plank here. So she's nice and strong through the core. The hips are lifted. She's not rounded through the back, and she's really pushing into her hands. Whoop. On the next exhale, let's lower chin first, then chest, then belly. So hug the elbows to the spine. We call this chaturanga. Good. Relax the feet, roll the shoulders back, and inhale, come up a little bit. This is baby cobra. Exhale all the way back down. Push up into your plank, tuck your toes, knees or toes. And then exhale, find your downward facing dog. Good. So a lot of work happening here. Now we're gonna walk our feet again towards the front of the mat, find our forward fold. Pause here, take a couple of breaths, moving the neck, the shoulders, releasing anything we're feeling in that kind of upper back area. And then inhale, bring the hands above the knees, find a flat back, roll the shoulders back, straight spine, beautiful. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees as much as you can, come all the way up. And then exhale, find your heart. Beautiful. Pausing with that gratitude. We're gonna go to the other side. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, float forward, lead with the heart. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold, left leg steps back into that lunge. Knee comes down. Inhale, find your half lunge. Exhale, frame your foot, tuck the back toe and slide that foot back, find your plank. Let's go to our knees. So starting on your knees is building your foundation, taking a few breaths here in your plank, and then exhaling, lowering, hug the elbows into the spine, chin, chest, belly, all the way down to the mat. Good, roll the shoulders back, feet relax. Inhale up, baby cobra. Exhale down, push back into your plank, knees or toes. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Find your way to the front of your mat again. Walk your feet forward. Find your forward fold. Take a couple of breaths here, releasing that upper body. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot. Bring the arms all the way up. And then exhale, find your heart. Good. Take a moment here, bringing some gratitude in. So that is a basic sun salutations. We're gonna look at some standing strengths right now. So we're gonna go into warrior one, right foot forward, left foot back. So you take a giant step back, and what Trina's gonna do is she's gonna angle her heels so it meets the middle of the back. So we're going into warrior two, hips towards me. Yeah, perfect. So you'll see her heel comes back, her baby toe is grounded. And we actually want to adjust a little bit so that you bring your foot a little bit more into the center. So the heel meets the center of the back foot, okay? Open the toes. And you want to try to work so that the hips open towards the side. But when we do that, watch your knee. So your knee wants to track over that second toe. Okay, so lots going on here. In the lower part of the pose, you want to bring the thighs together. So almost like you're trying to get your feet to meet each other. That's the activation of the inner thighs. Okay, at the top, we want to relax through the shoulders and picture someone kind of pulling you through the fingertips and back. So you're lengthening out. Your chin is up and your eye gaze is over that middle finger. So lots of cues here. Great for opening the hips, strengthening the front of the legs. So key things to remember: squeezing the inner thighs, trying to get the feet to meet each other. So that engages your inner thighs. Zipping up the core, so pelvic floor lifts, belly in and up. So we're nice and strong through the center of our body. We're relaxed in the upper body, but we're lengthening through the arms. Beautiful. On the next exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And then walk yourself into mountain pose. So step, good, find mountain pose. So let's bring the hands down beside the body. Roll the shoulders down and back, and just notice the difference between the left and the right side. Notice if you're holding any tension in one side, and just try to balance out that between your left and right side. Practicing this body awareness. Beautiful. When you're ready, let's set up warrior two on the other side. So this time, left foot forward, right foot back. Good. So a couple of things to remember, bringing that alignment for the heel to meet the center of the foot, opening the toes. So we don't want to grip, we don't want to squeeze the toes. We want to try to keep them nice and open. And then we want to try to work at opening the hips towards the side. Watch the knee so the knee stays in. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs like they're trying to meet each other. Lots of heat building in this core, pelvic floor engaged. So working from the base in and up, belly in and up, chin slightly in so that she's lengthening through the crown of her head. So often what happens in warrior is that people lean forward a little bit. So just do an off warrior, lean forward a little bit. So people often try to do this in warrior, but one of the main things is to pull back, use the core, and just lift up through the crown of the head. So you can bend deeply in the leg if that feels good for you, or you can come out a little bit. It depends on how you feel. One more breath. Bring the hands to the hips, and then find yourself back in your mountain pose. Beautiful. Hands down, roll the shoulders down and back, and build your foundation here. So start to feel the feet open. Open the toes as much as you can. Activate the hands, shoulders down and back. Belly and core lifted, chin slightly in, and picture that there's a golden string picturing or lengthening you up through the crown of the head. Beautiful. Now we're going to work into some balance postures. So I'm going to get you to turn towards the camera, Trina, and step into the middle of the mat. So we're going to work through tree pose. So with balance, the first thing we want to look at is our drishti, our focal point. So you want to look at something that's about 3 feet in front of you that's not moving. And we want to soften our gaze. If we get so focused and tight, our eyes can get really tense. So we want to use a softened gaze. So 3 feet in front of you, something to look at. And then we're going to start with our right foot. So balancing on the right foot, slide the left toe to the mat and the left heel to your ankle. Bring your hands to your heart. So noticing here, this is a perfect balance. If you want to stay here, you can also use a wall. If you want to go a little bit higher, slide that foot up below the knee. Full foot on the leg, and squeeze the thigh again, opening the thigh to the side, but keeping the hips square. Pressing down through that foot, try not to grip the mats and try to press out of the hip. So we're not dropping into it, we're lifting. Our core is strong, our pelvic floor is in and up, and we're lifting again through that crown. Find your drishti, your focus. One more full breath. And then exhale, release the hands and bring the hands back down, foot back down into mountain pose. Again, pause and notice the difference between left and right side. Notice the heart rate, notice the heat. And then when you're ready, finding your drishti, bringing your hands to your heart, we're going to the other side. So grounding the left foot, toe to mat, heel to ankle. Beautiful. Then option 2, sliding the foot up the leg, below the knee. We may even find an option 3 here, so you can reach down for your ankle and bring your foot up a little bit higher above the knee. Now, if we're here, you still want to squeeze the inner thighs and you want to push into the leg. So we want to make sure that the foot is never on the knee. And we can also take the arms up. So the next inhale, Trina, bring the arms all the way up. And they can be nice and open, dropping the shoulder blades back down into their mat, squeezing the core, finding your drishti. A lot of stabilizers working here. One more breath. And then exhale, let's bring the hands to the heart first. Beautiful. And then release, find your mountain pose. Take a couple of breaths here, noticing the body, noticing the left and the right side. One more full breath here. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, let's step to the front of the mat. Let's go to this side this time. So coming into mountain pose. We're gonna go through a little bit of a flow again. So inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Look at the belly button, lengthens the neck. Inhale, we come halfway up. Exhale, we fold. We're gonna step the right foot back and you're gonna come up into your lunge. Engage your core, inhale, bring the arms all the way up. So lunge position is a great strengthener for the glutes. If you have any lower back pain, you can bend the back knee. Good, and this just takes a little bit of pressure off the lower back. Good. Planting the foot into the mat, trying not to grip the mat. One more breath here. Beautiful. Then exhale the hands down, frame your foot. And then press your hand into the mat and twist towards that bent leg. Good. And in this pose, we want to make sure that we don't hyperextend. So we don't want to pull back. We want to keep the shoulder, the elbow, wrist aligned. Good. Come back and frame your foot. Tuck the back toe back and find your plank. Couple of breaths here. So again, moving through this kind of vinyasa is what you're going to see a lot in a lot of the flow classes. So make sure the core is engaged. Start on your knees and then build to your toes. As you exhale, flow down, chin, chest, belly, hug the elbows, roll the shoulders back, maybe come up a little bit more. We might be a little bit more flexible in the lower back at this point, and then exhale back down. Now this time, inhale, push back into child's pose. Good. Notice how the body feels. Again, at any point in your practice, you can always take a time out in child's pose to rest and restore. On the next inhale, let's find your way onto your bum and extend the legs forward. We're going into forward fold. So in seated postures in our yoga practice, it's important that the hips are rolling forward. So Trina, show us your hips rolling back for a second. So yeah, so see this? So what happens when we start to take shape with our hips rolling back is that we are not in proper alignment. So roll the hips forward, sit up straight. So see how that takes a little bit of a core activation? Now, if you're not able to roll your hips forward, I would suggest sitting on a blanket. So I'm gonna give you a blanket to sit on. Okay, and a blanket or a bolster or a block. And what that's going to do is if you come right to the edge of it, it's going to roll your hips forward for you. Okay, we're going to go into forward fold. So inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And then as you exhale, come forward and keep the knees slightly bent. Allow yourself to round down. Here is a wonderful opportunity to take a block and place it on the head so the head can be supported. So we're starting to wind down our practice. So we're gonna stay in this posture for about a minute, letting the body relax. So there are 3 things in yoga that you should never feel these sensations. In general, if you're feeling these sensations, they're your body's messages that the shape you're in is not the right shape, so to come out of it. So the first one is numbness and tingling. If you at all you feel numbness and tingling, that means the nerves are being compromised. So just back out of the posture till that sensation goes away. Sharpness. So sharpness means that we're doing something in the joint, overcompensation or overextension. And then burning. So we want to build some heat, but we don't want to feel burning. Burning means that we'll go into muscle strain or sprain. So it's very important that you're listening to your body's messages in all the shapes that your body moves into. We never want to force in yoga. Yoga is all about finding that path of least resistance. It's not about pushing you into certain poses. So with forward fold, we're going to take 2 more full breath cycles. And when you're finished your second breath cycle, you're going to inhale and roll up as slow and as mindfully as you can, vertebrae by vertebrae, until the last thing that lifts is the top of your head. And then bring the hands by the side and just pause and notice. We call this staff pose. Good. Bring the hands behind the bum, and I want you to bend your right foot. Knee to the mat, or foot to the mat. Good, press into the foot and you're gonna lift the body up. Lead with the heart. Yeah, lift all the way up as much as you can, good. exhale back down. Good. Lengthen the leg, pause and notice. Readjust. Then we're going to bend the other side, press into the mat. Inhale, press the body up, lift the pelvis. Good. Exhale, come back down. Lengthen. Now we're going to take the feet into a diamond shape. So bring the feet together, pads of the feet together, knees out to the side. Here's an option that we can do with cat and cow without bringing weight on our wrists. So if you're feeling pretty tired on the wrists, then this is an option. So holding the ankles and the shins, we're just going to pull forward. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, round the chin down. Good. So follow a few more of these. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, round. And so Trina's got her feet nice and close. You don't have to have your feet that close if you want your feet wider. Really, the point of these shapes in our body is just to, again, get into the spine. So it's another option for cat and cow, going without being on the wrists. So we're going to do one more round, one more arch. And then come back to center. Good. And now we're going to come over onto all fours. So we're going to move our way into pigeon pose. So let's start with the right foot forward, in between the hands, or not in between the hands. We're going to bring the right wrist, this happens. The right knee or ankle towards the wrists, and we're going to extend the back leg. Good. So those of you that feel any tension in the knee, or this is too much, there's going to be another posture for that, and that is figure 4 on your back. Okay? So with pigeon pose, not everyone is so flexible or open in the hip. For some of us, we can take a block and we can put the block underneath the hip. So I'm going to get you to come up a little bit. Good. And we'll show this on the other side too. And then inhale, lengthen. And then as you exhale, come down between the knee and the ankle. Bring yourself all the way down, sleeping swan. Again, the option is to have a block on the head or putting the block in between the chest. And what we're doing here is we're working to square the hips and open that right side, that right glute, that right hip. You might even feel it in the right hamstring if you're tight. On the next inhale, slowly walk yourself up, finding a nice lengthened spine. And then we're going to switch sides. So transitioning, you're going to tuck the back toe. And you can come through downward facing dog if that feels good for you. Or just come onto all fours and bring that left ankle towards your wrists. So Trina's going to do downward facing dog the other side. So bringing your left foot forward towards pigeon pose. Good. Inhale, find that lengthened spine. Good, and we're gonna get Trina to lift up her hip and pretend she's not so flexible. So if the hip is lifted, the block is a wonderful addition for supporting this posture. Inhale, find the length, and then exhale, come down. Again, option to use the block or come all the way down to the floor. Taking 3 beautiful breaths here. Remembering the inhale, the belly lifts. And as you exhale, the belly comes in towards the spine. On your next inhale, slowly walk the hands towards the feet. Uncurl vertebrae by vertebrae. The last thing that lifts is the top of the head. Tuck the back toe, and we're gonna come right into our child's pose. So knees to the floor and exhale back down, noticing the hips. And then when Trina's ready, she's going to make her way onto her back. Coming onto your back and just pausing for a moment in that Shavasana shape. We're going to do reclining twists. So on the next inhale, guide the knees in towards the chest. And then come to the right side and rest in fetal position. So resting on your right side. And anytime we're in transition here, it's wonderful to feel the support of your body. So this adds a self-compassion practice. So feeling the support of your bones, your muscles. And then when you're ready, bringing the knees up aligned with the hips. So drawing the knees up and bringing the hands out. So the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists are aligned. So right out in front of the chest. Good. And as you exhale, open the hands into a T. Good. Now, a couple of things with reclined twist. We want to make sure that the shoulder blade makes contact with the mat. So for some of us, we're going to have to lift up the knees, and lifting up the knees and placing a prop underneath is going to draw the shoulder blade all the way down to the mat. So let's make sure, perfect, that the shoulder blade's down. And then if it feels okay, you can exhale and look in the opposite direction of your knees. This gives a wonderful twist right up through the spine and then through the cervical vertebrae. Now, a couple of things to remember in your reclined twist is that our lumbar, our lower back, is not meant to twist. So this feeling and the sensation and the twisting should be coming from the mid back, so right behind the heart center. We can envision an inhale running up the spine, and as we exhale, we can envision that twist coming right through the middle of the back, out through the fingertips. One more breath. On the next inhale, bring the head back to center first. Align the spine, and then inhale the knees back, and exhale, come right to the other side, resting in fetal position. So again, feel the support first of your bones, your muscles, your skin. Then bringing the knees up in line with the hips. Palms are out, shoulders, elbows, wrists aligned. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, open into your T. Landing the shoulder down. Again, option is to have the block. If the shoulder doesn't make it to the mat, we can prop up the knees. Beautiful. The inhale channels the energy of our breath all the way up the spine, and the exhale out through the mid back. You can always take an inventory of your body here, like we did at the beginning, that body scan. Anywhere you're holding tension, and this is a great shape to notice where you're holding tension. See if you can focus on sending the energy of your exhale into your body. We're going to take 2 more breaths here, Trina. Really using that exhale to let go of anything we're holding. And on your next inhale, draw the knees back into the chest. First, bring the head back with the inhale. And then bring the knees back. Give yourself a hug, rock and roll the spine. Right back where we started. Draw the right knee in towards the chest and extend the left leg. Make a couple of circles. And again, just observe any differences in that right hip from the beginning of your practice until now. And then let's switch that direction. And then when you're finished your third, draw the knee back in towards the chest and exhale it back down to the mat. Pause and notice. On the next inhale, draw the opposite knee back in. Start to make circles in one direction. And then 3 circles in the opposite direction. And then drawing that knee in towards the chest one more time. And then exhaling the legs back down for your final resting position, Shavasana. Now, many of us would like to end right here and just get up and on with our day. But with the yoga practice, Shavasana is one of the most important shapes our body can take. At the end of our practice, Shavasana allows us to integrate, to bring all the breath work, the strength, the balance, everything we practiced on a cellular level into the body. It provides us with a deep state of relaxation. So inhale as if the whole body is inhaling, and exhale as if the whole body is exhaling. Allow this breath to take you into a deep state of relaxation. Inhale as if the whole body is inhaling. And exhale as if the whole body is exhaling. Tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And in Shavasana, you're welcome to stay here as long or as little as you'd like. The optimal practice of Shavasana is 10 minutes. If all you have is this time, you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Just like at the beginning of our practice, noticing how those small joints move in your body. Touching the thumb to the pointer finger, and then the thumb to the middle finger, and the thumb to the index finger, and the thumb to the baby finger. And then start to explore the movement in the ankles, the wrists, the knees, the elbows, the shoulders. And at your own pace, draw your knees back in towards your chest. Give yourself a giant hug. And then notice which nostril is more clear, the left or the right side. You may need to plug one to see. And whatever side is more clear, come down to this side and rest in fetal position. Resting on your side, feeling that support of your bones, your muscles, your breath. And if you set an intention for your practice, please feel free to bring your mind back to that intention. Notice the energy your intention creates. And when you're ready, make your way up to a seated position. You can bring your hands to heart center. We call this Anjali Mudra. Keep the eyes closed and welcoming gratitude into the heart. So think about something you're truly grateful for. See if you can feel that vibration through every cell of your body. Feeling happy, motivated, inspired, and passionate. We say namaste to you.